Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Blue Maxima, and I am here checking out Ryuga Gotoku Ishin Companion App for PlayStation Vita. This is the first, technically, the Yakuza 0 Companion App actually came out after this one, I should say. So this is technically the first one, but I checked it out second because Yakuza 0 was actually close to coming out in English at the time, and notably, the game that this one is attached to never actually came out here. So, that's actually kind of neat. You can see down the bottom right there that it says that I've been playing for 4 hours. That's not true. It's closer to 3. The game, I'll get to my explanation in a bit once we go through everything. Our 3 main modes are all here up the top. This isn't like the Zero Companion App where you had some weird things you could go by and it was all just kind of unconnected from one another, except the battle arena stuff. No, this is all a fairly intertwined experience going on right here, and we'll get to that. So, we've got our settings menu here. There's not much to see. This top menu option here is your difficulty. Then you have your tips, which shows you a little bit from the game's manual every time you do something new. Your camera controls are all here, and I don't remember exactly what this option does, but we're not going to touch it anyway. No real need to. So, this game, as I said before, it's a companion app. And the companion app whole thing here is actually really interesting. Actually, all of these things here up the top are all represented in-game. So, the battle arena, the, what's this again? The casino, and the extra life, I believe that's what they call it, the Another Life series of things that you can do, are all represented in Yakuza Ishin, which is actually Ryuga Gotoku Ishin, which is the second in a series of Japanese historically based spin-offs that take place in, I think the Ishin takes place in around the 1600s, towards the end of the samurai, where they take characters from the main series and make them historical figures with the personalities of the characters that they are based on from the modern day series, and it's actually kind of great. But they've never actually bought any of the two over in English, which is really disappointing. But that doesn't really have anything to do with what we're doing here. But these things here are all represented in that game, and down here is your save sync button. And you can save sync your data back and forth from the Vita version to the PS3 or PS4 version, and then back again, so that you can earn stuff while you're out on the go, and then send it over to your console version. This is something they weren't able to do with Zero because they didn't bother to localize the companion app for that for some reason. And they, again, missed out here because they never bought those games over in the first place. But considering that I actually do own a PlayStation 3 copy of Ishin, I was actually able to try this out, and it does work. The game also says that it does lock some content behind actually owning a copy of the game. But as far as I'm aware, I haven't actually run into that wall yet. I have synced my game back from the PlayStation 3 version, so if there was a lock that was taken away, I probably haven't gotten to it or noticed it. But anyway, let's go and have a quick look around at what we can do here before we move on to any of the 3 major events here. So, you'll notice down in the bottom right there that you have both you have 4 things listed there. Your time's at the very bottom. The top is your experience. The second from the top is your overall money, and the third from the top is your casino chips. And you actually have to buy casino currency in order to play in the casino. So I will actually go and buy some right now. Using 2,000. Yep, using 2,000 of my money, I was able to buy 20 casino chips. And you can also use both your casino chips and your... You can use both your casino chips and... Sorry, my brain's not working with me right now. Your casino chips and your real-world money to buy things. So I just bought a full set of armor because that wasn't actually there the last time I looked. Either that or it's only available via purchase with the real-world money stuff. But yeah, you've got a full set of armor, a bunch of different kinds of weapons, and you have healing items. This will heal up your health. This will heal up your, I can't remember what they call it, key, rage, whatever you want to call it, and this will heal up both at once. These are consumable items you can carry along with you. I already have 3, but just to be safe, I'm going to buy 2 more. So, you Now you might be asking, how do you earn currency? Well, of course, there are two ways. You can go win in the casino, or you can go play the Another Life mode, which is what we're going to go have a look at first. This is particularly interesting because this is actually something you do in the full game as well, and you do actually get to see something kind of cool, which is a fully rendered scene of a Yakuza game running natively on a PlayStation Vita, and it looks fantastic. I mean, there's obviously been a couple of environmental concessions taken here and there, like those are obviously some 2D trees in the background there, but it looks really nice. Like, this is easily on par with a PlayStation 3 Yakuza game, by far. So to see the Yakuza engine running so well on the Vita makes me really disappointed we didn't get to actually see a full Yakuza game on the Vita, even if it was just like a tiny spin-off, like the PSP ones that only let you wander around Kamurocho or something like that. It wouldn't have been too bad if it was at this graphical level. Like, not in the slightest, really, but oh well, man can dream. And besides, you want to know how big this is already? This version, everything you're going to see in this is already 3.2 gigabytes. So it might have required, like, 2 cartridges. But anyway, let's go have a look at the shrine first. The shrine lets you worship, which will get you virtue points. And virtue points are very important, as we'll see in a couple of minutes. You can also come down to this menu option here as a storage box, which will let you put some items away if you don't want to use them right now. And you can also use this moment here to rearrange your items in your backpack. Well, you don't have a backpack, but you get the general idea. Up here, you have the other option in that menu, by the way, was to save the game manually. You also save it every time you go back out to the menu with the 3 options and a couple of other places as well, like changing any options. But anyway, this is the menu where you go spend your virtue, and these are all virtue upgrades. And these all do particular things. Like, for example, this set of options here gives you new cooking utensils and new recipes to cook with. And we'll get to the cooking in a bit. This menu here lets you increase the size of your farm and what you can use to farm, and the ability to do things like buy fertilizer. This gives you more carrying space, I believe. I don't remember much else of what this does, but you get the general idea. There's also the ability to upgrade your blacksmith and some fishing stuff and all that, but you get the general idea. You come here to spend virtue to upgrade all that. Another way you can earn virtue is by harvesting your goods. So if we come here, you can see that I've got a bunch of different types of things planted, and if I hit the second menu option here, it'll harvest it all at once and then replant it all, so I don't have to go to the effort of doing it myself. And it resets everything. You can also come here and change what's planted here. So you can see that certain things will be big, certain things will be small, and once you harvest them, they will be in your inventory for you to come and pick up later. These will grow in real-world time. I've been able to put my Vita down, come back after 5 minutes, and these have all grown, so I can immediately harvest them and go about my business. If we go inside the house, this is where we put those ingredients that we just made to use. We have 2 things we can do with them. We have the bench over here, which we won't go into right now, and that's Haruka, by the way, who I believe I almost knocked flat on her ass. Don't want to do that to poor Haruka. But over here, we have the ability to cook. So if we press the circle button here and go into this menu option, the second option is just teaching you how you can cook. You can pick recipes to put together, and some require more complex things than I have, unfortunately, so we'll just have to go with the simplest thing that I have on hand, which will be this one, I suppose. So this is how cooking works. It's basically just a bunch of mini-games. There's a couple of mini-games I haven't seen yet that the help dialogue box has told me about, but the general idea is that you make meals using the rhythm mini-games going on here. I come up one leek, and now I'm going, is this a leek? I don't think it's a leek. It's a weird looking fucking carrot, I'll tell you that much. But yeah, we also have carrots separately, so that's probably a leek. But yeah, now that I've cut them up, I just need to hammer away on the circle button to heat up the flame, and the better you perform on these, the higher quality of the meal you'll get. You'll also get the same meal as a consumable, which can be used in the middle of the action stages, which is pretty nice. So yeah, she eats it. She tells you how it is. You get the item as a thing. You get some virtue. You get virtue for doing basically anything in this game. And you get a little bit of a relationship improvement with her, which is actually really nice, because it takes ages to build them up in the games proper. You come over here to this shelf, and Haruka asks what you want to sell, and you can choose whatever you want to sell. You need to find specific amounts of stuff, and you'll get a reward for it. So in this case here, I'll get 10 virtue, 2,500 money, and a special material. And you can do this with as many things as you want that you've got the ingredients for on one run. So if I just do all of this here, I can send her off. Whoop, hang on. So this guy's also looking for a fish. Thankfully, I have 2 of these fishies to give him. And so we're actually going to get a pretty good load, a pretty good haul out of this one. So you've got raw materials up here, fish down here, cooked meals, and really well cooked meals. It just, yeah, I'm not entirely sure. But you get the general idea. You make meals with, like, with your fish and your raw ingredients. And then you can also just send her out with your raw ingredients and your fish. And she'll go out. You can actually skip this, by the way, but I'm not going to, because it's nice being able to see this on a Vita screen. Then she'll come back. And, yep, we were successful. 1,000, a bunch of virtue, a bunch of money, a few materials here and there, and a lot of a relationship boost. So I've earned a fair amount of virtue just from doing that, which is nice. So that's the general idea here. Now, if we head out to the door, there are a couple of other things we can go do. So we can actually go and talk to the blacksmith. And the blacksmith lets us buy and sell items. There is also a guy here who will give us free entry-level materials. So if we go talk to this guy here. Hello, what are you doing? I'll take... Oh no, he actually lets me buy stuff now. Awesome. I wasn't aware that he actually let me do that, but yeah, okay, you can buy stuff. Some of these look like, yeah, all of these look like materials, actually. I have a fair amount of each, but just out of curiosity, I'm going to buy a few of these and just see if it leaves me with enough stuff to actually do anything with the blacksmith, because the blacksmith is actually kind of expensive. But yeah, since I spent a bunch of money, I get a bunch of virtue. Awesome. Alright, and this guy here, these two options here are buy and sell. So we can choose to buy an item here, and we can upgrade this sword to strength 69 or 79, and it looks like some of these weapons are improved by being used in a certain style. We'll get to them. We'll get to the styles. And we can upgrade this weapon to 120, which is nice, for 1,500 and some materials, which I'm going to do. Probably could have timed that better, but oh, right. Oh, okay, that makes sense. I was actually having trouble figuring out why I wasn't actually improving the item, but because I hit the bronze, it only put it up by 1. Okay, it works like that. Got it. We also... This is actually a different sword. I don't have access to anything else right now, unfortunately. I could go and buy that spear if I wanted to, but you get the general idea. So yeah, you can come to this guy to upgrade your stuff and sell stuff back to him for, you know, money if you get some items in the middle of a fight. So if we head out the door, we immediately get taken back to the farm. And if I look to the right, some of my stuff has grown. Not all of it, but some of it, which means I can actually come and harvest it. See? Nice and easy. And now we can head back out. So these two options here are two different fishing places that you can go to. So I'm going to go to the top one just because why not? And fishing in this game is actually really simple, which is kind of nice actually. After having to play something like, you know, Trials of Cold Steel, where you actively have to focus on the fishing, being able to fish like this is actually pretty nice. So you just press the circle button and you throw out your bobber. And you sit and you wait. Because it's a fishing minigame, of course you have to sit and wait for it. I might also need to readjust the position of the bobber, but we'll wait and see for a few seconds or not. Yeah, it looks like I need to adjust. You kind of need to try and get it in the view of the fish that you want to catch. So let's try here. They don't get too thrown off by having a bobber land in the water right in front of them. Here, fishy, fishy, fishy. This one appears to be swimming backwards away from it, which is quite annoying, actually. Oh, no, hang on. He's got it. So when the bobber starts to go down, you'll see that little red mark on the bobber there. Hit it when that is just touching the surface of the water. And you will pull in the fish. No extra effort required. There's your fish. There are different grades of fish, and you get virtue every time you catch fish. You can also spread out bait, which I believe is something you actually have to either make or buy. I know that you can't get it without spending a fair amount of virtue first, so do be wary about that. So that's the general background progression of everything. Sorry, brain stroke, ow, help. You use your vegetables and your fishing to earn money to use at the blacksmith with materials you earn from the fighting stuff in order to do the loop of getting better and better and better stuff. However, there is more to it, but I'm not going to show you that because I want to go show you the gambling first. I'm sorry, I know I'm a bit of a dick, and the one thing I need to do for this right now actually is pull up my Google Chrome browser. Hello, my start menu. It's alright, you don't really need... I'm not really worried about you seeing my start menu of all things. I just need to look for this page that I bookmarked just a few minutes ago. Here we are. So, okay. We're going to go and do some Japanese gambling. So, notably, you can actually play this online with other people, but it requires a fair amount of money, which is kind of annoying. But you can actually play this online with people who are playing on the PS3 and the PS4. Neat trick. We're not going to do that. We're just going to play the single player. You've got 5 gambling games you can play here. Mahjong, Koi Koi, Bongo Awatsu? It's something like that. It's something ridiculous. American Poker, which is actually kind of neat. Yes, it's Texas Hold'em Poker and Shogi. You can play any of these you like. I'll show you what this game is, because this is what I actually opened my bookmark for. And I will show you what this is like. This will give you a rough idea of what all the gambling's like. I might as well show you poker as well, because I actually know how to play poker. But this is actually a really interesting twist on blackjack, if you are aware of blackjack. So, the general idea is that you 4 players take turns being the dealer, and the 3 players pick out of the 4 hands that are dealt out on the field here, and you have to try and get to 10 without going over. If you go over, your number will be reset to 0. So, I'm currently on the 3rd hand, which means I'm currently sitting at 3. You can see the numbers there. I currently have a 4, because the numbers are the little symbols in the corner in the black triangles. I currently have a 4 and a 9, so that would be 13, so it leaves me with 3. So I have the option to draw one more card or stay where I am, but he's probably going to try and draw one more card as well, so I'm going to do the same. And I'm down to 0, which means I lost completely. Everybody's playing against the dealer. The dealer will win and lose depending on who wins and loses below him. So I lost money from the dealer, and they won money from the dealer. And as you can see there, you earn a bit of virtue from gambling as well. So if you're a fan of Texas Hold'em Poker, you can just come straight here, or even like weird little gambling games like this. You can just come straight here and have some fun playing poker. Right, so apparently I drew a specific kind of special hand, judging by the glowing on mine. Oh, fuck me, I just lost. Wow, I just lost all my gambling chips in one fucking hand. And I don't have enough to continue, so it's literally kicking me out. Jesus Christ, game. Jesus fucking Christ. But yeah, that was Japanese gambling. We'll come back and play some, well, we might come back and play some Texas Hold'em in a bit, but you get the general idea. It's presented in that old-timey way where everything's like all 1600s era Japanese stuff. It's all really well presented. The only problem is that unless you know the rules pretty damn well, you're not going to stand a chance. Either that or you know Japanese well enough to read them, but chances are, if you know enough Japanese to read the rules to Hanafuda and Koi Koi and whatever, you already know the rules to Koi Koi. So, there you go. So here's the main combat portion of the game. We have a bunch of things we can do here, but the first thing I want to do is I actually want to back out of this because I want to go and show you the pause menu first before I do anything else, just to make sure I've got all that armor I just bought equipped. So if I hit the... apparently I can't do it out here. Fuck me then. Okay, so we're going in. We're going back in. I thought you could do it out in the main menu, but I guess you can't. Alright, so... this is what they call the third clan mode. I think that's what it translates to. And there's a bunch of things you can do here. This is just the how to play, but I won't bother telling you, worrying you about that because I can show you everything here. This is where you come to dump stuff in the... yeah, this is where you come to dump stuff in the box that you don't need. If you come up here, this is where you can go to buy new dudes, and we will show you what new dudes look like. So, you go into battle alone, but you can carry along a series of 4 extra character cards. And these character cards all do specific things. So you can see all the different abilities of the dudes right here. Just as an example, I know the abilities of this guy. One of his abilities is the green one up the top there, is a slow regeneration of your health, and the bottom one is a big, and the bottom one is the slow regeneration of your health, and the green one is just a quick health boost. And every character has both of these abilities. You can see that there is a leader highlighted in the blue column there, and then the 3 following is the green. They're just the regular soldiers. Depending on which one of these you have equipped, you will get stat boosts from them, and you can see them there. Those are your health bonuses and all that. You can also get active abilities from these guys as well. Like, I believe this guy down here actually gives you grenades if you decide to use his active ability. And to get more of these dudes, as I said before, you go to this area here and you dump in a certain amount of money. And depending on how much money you dump in, it determines the chances of you getting a rare thing. So it's basically a card collection system like the MLB The Show's Diamond Dynasty mode or Ultimate Team or all that. But you don't pay any real world money. It's just in-game money that you use. And that's how it works. Depending on the rarity of the dudes that you have will affect the amount of times they can level up. So for example, I just got a rare card there. And an uncommon card there, I should say. And the uncommons can get to level 60. There are ultra rares, like this guy up here, who can get to level 99. And there are a couple of other kinds as well, like commons that only get to level 40. You can use other cards as fuel for cards. So you can say I wanted to... okay, you weird looking guy. If I go to the second option here... I select this, hit start. He gains experience. Didn't level up, unfortunately, but he did gain the experience. Everybody also has, I don't know exactly what it's called. I think it's called, morale in this game, where every time you send them out as part of your group, they will lose morale, and I don't know what happens when they run out. I assume it just takes them a little bit of real time to get it back up again. But yeah, either way, it's kind of annoying to have to deal with, so try and avoid dealing with it. We're going to hop straight into a fight, but yeah. It's funny, the last time I picked that, yeah, whatever, fine, fuck it, we're just gonna hop straight in. So there are tons of different kinds of missions you can do, but they all basically boil down to the same general structure. You're put into a series of underground caves, and you have to go through and clear out all the dudes. So let's do that. So this is Yakuza Ishin. It is a spin-off of the Yakuza beat-em-up series. There are a few things, of course, that are different, but there are a few things that are, of course, the same. You have a rage meter, which you can use to pull off special moves at certain times. So, for example, if I knock this guy flat on his ass... Oh, it's heat. Right. How did I forget that it's called heat? But as you can see, I just used the heat action on this motherfucker. And that means he's gonna take that means he takes a lot of damage. You earn heat by landing attacks. You lose it by using heat actions and fucking up by getting hit. There are 4 different kinds of styles you can use in the game. And it's basically just what weapons you've got out at the time. So right now I have both the sword and the gun. The sword and the gun is powerful, but it's weak. You do need to be very careful about getting hit with it. It's pretty effective against single dudes. You can swap to just the gun, which is, it's actually kind of weird having a constantly available long-range weapon in this fucking series. And then you can also swap to only having the sword. And you can also just have no weapons out at all. And all 4 of these abilities do have a couple of other things you can do. If you hold the R button, it does a lock-on. And the lock-on will keep a certain dude in your sights. So you can pay attention to them. You can also use the L button to block. And some abilities, and some styles, should I say, will let you use the circle button to grab a bitch and throw him. There are a couple of other things that can be done as well, and I will get to them later on. Right now, I just want you to sit back and enjoy some general beatdowns, because it's Yakuza, baby. It's always been good at satisfying, challenging, fun time beatdowns. You've got your abilities over there that you can use. And as you can see, I used the touchscreen there, but you can also hold down the touchscreen left button there and use a D-pad option. And as you can see, I actually got some of my health back, which is really nice, because I'm not very good at this game. I've never been very good at Yakuza, but I love it anyway. And their abilities will always apply, and if they have, like, a commander ability, it will apply all the time. You can see up the top there, around the middle, it'll have, like, the little things going on there that lets you see what you've got powered up. Stab, bitch. Hell yes. Swap back to nothing and just keep stomping him, and might as well beat the crap out of him a bit. Punch that door open. Pull my sword back out. Actually, no, I'm gonna go... Yeah, let's go sword gun. Why not? Your X button does allow you to do dodges of a certain amount. It's a little bit odd what the game will let you dodge and what it won't let you dodge. Your dodges aren't particularly great at this point in the game because you do have an upgrade system. But we'll get to that once I've cleared out this room, because seriously, this is going to take a little while. I'm probably going to need to use my... oh wait, no, hang on. Yeah, I got him back. Free heal. And I got a style level up, which is nice. I haven't gotten a level up proper yet, which I would like to get. And to be fair, I probably will get by the end of this room, because they do like to hand out level ups in this game. Screw it. Regular sword. I admit I'm not very good at this game, and I haven't quite figured out the ins and outs of it yet, because this is actually significantly different from your traditional Yakuza game. Which is a little annoying, but, I mean, it's nothing I can't deal with too much anyway. Just trying to wipe this guy out before I get from behind there. Yes, blocking is actually more effective than I'm making it look. See? I need to remember to block every once in a while. I'm not very good at remembering to block. Yeah. Sword. Should I know? Couple of weird animation bugs there. That guy was clearly back on his feet, and I still managed to shoot him in the face somehow while he was down on the ground. The gun seems kind of overpowered, honestly. Ow. Good time block on my part. Knocks that guy flat on his ass. Stomp his face in a little bit. Thankfully, you can stop as many times as you want while he's getting up. But yeah, there we go. He even dropped a resource for us. Ain't that nice of him? But anyway, now that that's done, let's hit the start button and have a look at the start menu, shall we? First thing we have is consumables. Special items. There's your vegetables. There's your fishes. There's your materials. And there's... I'm not actually entirely sure what that is. Your second menu here should be your equipment. That's right. So now I can equip all of this stuff here and actually have some better defense going on. And these items can also have special effects and can also be upgraded at the Blacksmiths. And I can swap weapons here as well, so I can swap to this special sword here. This sword actually gives me more damage resistance, so it'd be even better for my health if I used it, but oh well. Now, if you come into the level up screen, this is where things get interesting. So, every time you level up normally, you get a grey orb, and every time you level up an individual style, you get a orb of that colour. And you can use the orbs of those colours to upgrade those particular stances only. So, using my green orbs to upgrade the sword and gun stance, just as an example. But you can use white orbs to upgrade any stance you want. And these upgrades can be anything. They can be new moves, they can be more resistant damage, they can give you longer health, they just give you all sorts of little things like that. You can generally tell what's more effective just overall for your character, judging by those little symbols there. See the 5 symbols there? Those are all 5 of the style symbols. So you can have a look at all 5 of them and be like, oh, this will probably give me some sort of overall benefit. Like, it'll give me more health, or it'll give me more heat, or it'll do yada, 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 yada. Also, this one here appears to be locked. I'm not entirely... all these ones here appear to be locked. I'm not entirely sure what I need to do to unlock them. Maybe I'd have to use their specific orb, but you get the general idea. And this progress can and will carry over to the full game as well if you're playing it in Japanese. So if you wanted to play through this to give yourself a little bit of advantage, you could, because all of these, despite the fact that I hadn't fought in a single fight in the PS3 game, actually carried over to the PS3 game. You can also come here to see your 3 dudes and what they do throughout the level if you want to. And that's your options menu. So that's a general idea. You generally don't know what... Well, I mean, unless you pay attention and decrypt the mission objective. And by decrypt, I mean translate. It's not a ancient forgotten language, Blue Maxima. It's a real language that real people use. You don't really know what your real objective is if you're not translating. So the general idea of this is generally just to go around, look for the levers, and basically beat the crap out of anything that's at that purple circle there. Because that will just generally lead you the right way pretty much all the time. Which is perfectly fine by me, because I do enjoy it when the game makes it nice and simple for me. It also turns most of this into a pretty fun hack and slash style deal. Just, you know, having fun beating the crap out of dudes in any way I deem fit. All the different styles are suited for different kinds of people. Like, I wouldn't want to use the sword and gun style on the guys with the spears, for example. I wouldn't want to be just sword on guys with guns. You know, you get the general idea, right? There's some more resources for me. Right, haven't found the right switch for this door yet. So, I'm guessing I have to go up here, because that's where the other thing is. But yeah, this is the general idea. You just more or less wander around these caves. They are more or less random. Like, I don't think they are procedurally generated, but they might as well be for how much difference it'll make. Not that much to see in the way of graphical prowess, but at the same time, it still looks pretty nice and it maintains a good frame rate. So, I'm not too bothered by it. I'm not too bothered by it looking relatively simple, because it still looks fine in the grand scheme of things. And to be fair, I'll take running well over... I'll take running well over looking good pretty much any day of the week. Fuckers with spears. Alright, you know what? Fuck it. You guys get the gun. Yeah, I leveled up the gun. It might actually be useful to me a little bit more now. I haven't actually been using the gun a lot because I don't really like using the gun in a Yakuza game because I think it kind of defeats the purpose. How about I go sword and gun instead? That works. Then I can just do this ridiculous shit right here and immediately get hit in the back by an overconfident ass. Thankfully, the game decided to auto-heal me once I ran out of health. Ooh, that's got a sting. It was always a bit weird in these games how you could shoot someone in the neck twice and they'd still get up from it. The old critical existence failure going on there. But yeah, the actual beat 'em up stuff is fun. You've got plenty of upgrades to get, lots of moves to learn. The enemies are all, well, they're all generics as far as I can tell. At the moment, at least. You do get to fight, like, bigger bosses towards the end of each stage. But other than that, it's pretty basic stuff in the way of what enemies you'll be fighting. At least up to this point. I know that this stuff can go a lot farther, because what this game advertises is that while it's more or less a free demo for a little bit on the Vita, because they, you know, couldn't put the full game on for whatever reason, they let you play these particular modes here up to the... They let you play these particular modes up to whatever, like, limitation they've got built in. But they give you an active warning that you want to be transferring your save file back and forward between the main game in order to unlock the rest of the content. I don't know exactly how this works, but it does mean that you'll probably come up against some kind of limit towards the lower areas of the game if you don't actually own the game proper. Which is kind of disappointing because they've got the whole gameplay cycle down pat. Go and beat up dudes, use the materials and money you use to help better your farm to get more money and materials, and use that to upgrade your weapons to make you better, to find you better dudes for the actual card game stuff, and you get the general idea. It's just they've got that loop down, more or less, with just this tiny little game here. It's a shame they couldn't be like, hey, give us $10 and we'll unlock the rest of the game for you. So this is basically like a little mini game all of its own. That would have been fun. Why didn't they do that? But still, the fact that they give you all of this, like, stuff for free, at least for a few hours of game time, because as I've said before, I've been playing for about 2-3 hours at this point, and I haven't run into any noticeable blocks yet. The fact that they give you all this stuff for free is, in and of itself, pretty damn amazing. If someone who has actually played through Ishin and could give me a few more details on how this works, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. But yeah, it's kind of great being able to actually, like... I know it's not the full game in here, but it feels like a lot of stuff from the actual games. And the combat is fun. Yakuza combat is always fun. It's always well produced, it's always difficult enough, and of course there's a user made difficulty switch. That's the final door. I can't go through that just yet because I have some more objectives to go do, so I need to go find the other objective, which is back here. All the way up. You can hit select to see a map, by the way, so there's a map of your dungeon for you. Actually, can I hold the X button to run in this game? No, I can't. Might as well see what materials I've got up here. Oh well, not much, but... Right, there's the other door down here that I didn't go through, wasn't there? Down here, make a left turn, and yep, there's the final stack of resources that we had to get rid of. And now I can go and fight the boss. With a fully charged set of power-ups and everything in between. So, this will work quite nicely. Slowly working my way back. There's your ability to use all your abilities, by the way. Just by holding down that button. I don't think L3 and R3 don't actually do anything in this one. They probably could have just relegated what's on L2 and R2 to the touchscreen somehow, and they wouldn't have had to have worried about the rear touchpad at all, but... Oh well. Almost there. Alright, let's do this. So here's the boss. He's a strong little bastard, he is. Actually, yeah, probably a better idea to focus on him, just for the moment, because I currently have an attack boost going on. Yeah, this guy's pretty strong. Oh my god, ow. Actually, I think I should focus on his mates, just because his mates are going to bother me every bloody time that I try to, pick on their boss. So if I can just... Nope, never mind. I got my shit kicked in. That seems exactly right for me. Absolutely does. Unfortunately, that means I don't get any money or any resources from this run. But all my guys lose morale. Oh no, I do get the materials. I just don't get the money. Which, that works, I suppose. So that was... No, I said I'd go play some Texas Hold'em. So I'll go do that. I'll go and buy some casino chips and use that to play some poker, shall I? What is it with these games and saving twice, by the way? It's a little odd like that. One player, Texas Hold'em, and we'll just go with the top option. So yeah, it's a really weird little thing, and I'm kind of annoyed that it never came out over here, because this would have been really fun to have in English. I don't know why they insisted on... I don't know why they never brought these ones over. I guess it was just because it was a bad time, and when they brought Yakuza 0 over, it made them... It made it more interesting, I guess. It brought a little bit of life back into the series cheeks again. So, I'm gonna bet just to see what he says. All right. Yay! I had 2 pair and I win. He had a pair of 2s. The poor little shit. All right, couple more hands. Wow, that is a good one. That is a good starting hand. I'm just gonna bet the house. Like, I am not one to let that sleeping dog lie. Yeah, it's really disappointing this never came out in English, because this would have been great. Even if it was just this tiny little game here, and we didn't get, like, Ishin proper or whatever, it would have been neat. It would have been nice. They wouldn't have had to do as many of the licensing stuff they would have had to do with, any of the other games. Because it would have been way more... It would have been perfectly fine just to have this little one. Because This is fun. It's got the gameplay loop. It's got the full gameplay loop. It's interesting enough, and it's Yakuza combat, which makes it all the more enjoyable to me. I'm liking this a lot, and for something they gave away for free on the PlayStation Store, I really like it. And I really do wish that either one of these companion apps came over in our language. I'm probably walking into a trap here. Wait, 98765? Awesome. I got it straight. I imagine someone else here did as well, but we'll see. Yes! I got it straight. God, that guy in the top left didn't get any. He wasted a lot of his chips. Let's go back to the gambling menu and see if I can show off just something else just while I'm here. Holy fuck, we've been at it for nearly 50 minutes. Well, if that doesn't give you a general idea of how much bloody time you can spend on this damn game, this little thing, part of it here just by itself, imagine how good, you know what, I'm gonna reclaim my honor. Let's have another game of whatever the fuck this is called. Alright. I have a choice, 2 hands here. One is at 1 and the other is at 8. And I do have to draw an extra card, so I will go with this one. 7. I'm not going to draw another card. I'm going to see how this will work for me. It's a tie, but I lost because dealer wins on ties. God, that sucks for me. Yeah, give me another hand. Alright, we've got 2 10s. Oh, well, one of the 10s has already been taken. I'm going to take the 3. Bet another 100 on it, I suppose. Yeah, I'll take another card. 7! I'll take that. Fuck! Oh, man. Well, that sucks for me. Let's give this another shot then. Let's see. I get to pick the hand first this time. We've got a 10 over there, a 2 there. That's a 5, and... We'll go with the 2. Oh, I got a 9. Alright. I'm staying with that. I am absolutely staying with that. Yes! That is my money. And now I get to be the dealer, which makes things even more interesting because I can win money from everyone if I do well enough. So I'm currently at 5, but they got a 6 and an 8, but they still have to draw their cards, which might leave me in a good spot. I gotta... Right. I have to draw another one if I want to win. Aha! Well, there goes all my money. Yep, I just lost 179 tokens, whatever. Quit, go away. My gambling luck is not with me today. I made like 6 grand in one hand of poker, and then I just fuck up on that gambling game. But yeah, that was a look at the Yakuza Ishin companion app. It is surprisingly good for something you literally get for free. Sure, you need to have the full Yakuza Ishin game on PS3 or PS4, a Japanese copy to be specific, which I'm pretty sure there won't be any other kinds of copies outside of like other weird Asian releases, but sure, you need that to get the full experience, but at the same time, I'm still having a ton of fun with it. And if you're on the Japanese PlayStation Network for whatever reason, you might as well pick this one up because it doesn't cost you a damn thing to at least give it a shot. So, there you go. It is fun. It's good to actually play something good for once in a while. This has been Blue Maxima. I will see you all next time.